You know, it's like a broken record, right? A million guys out there completely blindsided saying life was great until it wasn't, and I'm no exception. Thought everything was peachy until it all went sideways. Hey, I'm Blake Ramsey. At 31, life felt good and satisfying. Things were going smoothly, especially with my job at Space Conquest, a division of a major aerospace company. We were working on NASA project creating a next-generation man spacecraft resembling an airplane upon landing solely for passengers. My role involved designing the escape system, ensuring each crew member had their own capsule to eject from in case of emergencies. A dream come true for a space engineer. My wife Tracy and I, married for 7 years, had 3 kids, Tyler 7 and twin girls Beth and Emily 6. Family was my priority, balancing work with quality time. Our parents live nearby and love spoiling their grandkids. Tracy's sister Lucy was also close. We lived in a friendly neighborhood in a 4-bedroom house, planning to convert the basement into extra space as the girls grew. Tracy and I met in college, fell in love, and married soon after. I pursued aerospace engineering, while Tracy worked as a legal assistant. She left her job after Tyler's birth, but returned after the twins were born. As the girls started school, Tracy's behavior changed, hinting at problems in our relationship that I overlooked before everything went downhill. I met Tracy's boss Stanley Cross a few times at social events and the company Christmas party. I didn't like him. He came off as arrogant and rude, and I didn't trust him one bit. Whenever I visited Tracy at work, Cross seemed possessive and reluctant to let her leave. I kept an eye out for any signs of romance between them, but didn't notice anything at the time. Things fell apart when the twins finished kindergarten. After dropping them off at my parents' place for the weekend, I was hoping for a nice time alone with Tracy to work on our relationship. When I got home, she was 2. The 9s, looking incredibly beautiful in a short black dress, high heels, and perfect makeup. Wow, babe, you look amazing. If you had told me we were going out, I would have hurried home. Let me freshen up real quick and change, and I'll be good to go. So, where are we headed? Tracy's smirk wasn't a good sign. Well, we're not going anywhere together, but I am stepping out, just not with you. I was stunned. Wait, what do you mean? I've got a date with my boss, Stanley Cross. And this is just the beginning. There are going to be some new rules starting now. Stan's picking me up for a night out, and I won't be home tonight or tomorrow. We've got a room downtown. I'll be back Sunday afternoon. What the hell are you talking about? I shouted. You need to calm down and accept it. This is how it's going to be. I'm going out, but I'll be back Sunday afternoon. Like hell, if you walk out that door, don't bother coming back. No, Blake, I'll be back. We're still married, and I'm still coming home, but you need to understand, I need more. If you make this difficult, you'll be the one leaving. It'd be a shame for our kids to see their dad broke and in jail. Now sit down, and I'll tell you about the changes. Let's do this the easy way before Stan shows up in about 30 minutes. Trust me, you won't like it if he has to explain. If that a-hole shows up in 30 minutes, he'll be leaving with a broken nose in 31. Don't do that, Blake, Tracy said firmly, for 2 reasons. First, you need to hear what he can do if you don't cooperate, and second, he'll have Max with him. Max is his bodyguard, and he's not someone you want to mess with. Touch Stan, and you'll end up in the hospital. I felt a sensation I hadn't felt since my days as a Marine in the Middle East. At first I couldn't put my finger on it, but then it hit me. I'm being ambushed with my wife on one side and Stanley Cross about to join the fray. I'm caught in the middle. They've got the upper hand with their pre-planning and surprise, and I'm not sure how to defend myself. I brushed past Tracy and headed upstairs. Where you going? Tracy demanded. We need to talk. I'm going to freshen up real quick. Be down in 5. During my time in the Middle East, I'd been ambushed 3 times. I had a few rules for dealing with ambushes. First, try to spot it before you're caught, but with Tracy and Stanley, I didn't see it coming. Second, find cover fast. That's why I was making a beeline for my bedroom. And the third rule, come up with an escape plan for you and your team. I needed a plan, so I made one. First, I changed out of my suit into something more casual, then I set up my iPhone to record and slipped it into my pocket. Next I went to my closet and rummaged through my old footlocker. On top there was a key taped to the back. I opened it up and memories flooded back. As I looked at my old uniforms, I realized I could still fit into them even after 10 years. Underneath the uniforms I found a bunch of filing folders, and below those a box with my medals, rewards for my service during 2 tours in the Middle East. I quickly glanced at the medals, but that wasn't what I was after. Underneath them was what I was looking for: my Marine Corps Beretta 9mm named Betsy. It was tucked away in a cloth-lined plastic pouch with 2 clips of bullets. Technically, I wasn't supposed to. ChatGPT said, "The message you submitted was too long. Please reload the conversation and submit something shorter. Retry." Keep my pistol, but a mix-up when I was leaving the service allowed me to hang on to it. This tool meant a lot to me. It had saved my life more times than I could count in combat. As I loaded a clip, I heard Tracy calling from downstairs, "Get down here now, Blake, or you'll regret it." "I'll be right down. Can you grab me a beer?" I called back. I slid the tool and my belt at the small of my back and covered it with my shirt. It was a double-action semi-automatic pistol, so all I had to do was pull the trigger. To fire unless someone was specifically looking they wouldn't notice it. Before leaving the bedroom I pulled out my phone, started recording, and slipped it back into my pocket with the camera peeking out. I wanted to know exactly what Tracy and her boss had planned for me, so I decided to use some of the interrogation techniques I'd learned in the Marines. I planned to stay calm and encourage Tracy to talk about how she saw things. When I got to the living room, Tracy was sitting at the table with a glass of wine in front of her and a beer waiting for me. About time, she said sternly, "We've got some things to sort out before Stan gets here. I can see you've got something on your mind, Tracy." I said, "Tell me about this new situation I'm supposed to accept." "First off, remember that I love you more than anything. We've got a family together, and I want to grow old with you. I really don't want to hurt you, honey," she began, but I cut in, "No more sweet talk. Tracy, I'm not your honey or sweetheart, just call me Blake and I'll call you Tracy." Tracy seemed annoyed by my lack of affection, but she kept going, "Look, I don't want to hurt you, but things have changed as of tonight, and you've got to accept it, or else you should know that Stan and I have gotten really close since he made me his personal assistant, and by that I mean we're having an affair. It's been going on for almost 7 months now. He started flirting with me not long after I went back to work as a secretary, then we started grabbing coffee together. During breaks when he promoted me to executive secretary we started spending even more time together, and his flirting turned into seduction. It was flattering to have a powerful guy like him interested in me. One evening, after work, he made his move in his office. He grabbed me, kissed my neck, and things escalated from there. He's good-looking, charming, and fit. It was hard to resist. We ended up on his couch, and he was a skilled lover. I enjoyed it so much I knew I didn't want to stop. "So you didn't even think about being unfaithful or how it would affect me?" I said, "I'm sorry, Blake, but no, I didn't, but that doesn't mean I don't love you. You're still the man I want to be with forever." I took a sip of my beer and said, "Good luck making that happen. Tell me, Tracy." I pressed on, "Why, after 7 months of sneaking around, are you suddenly coming clean? You could have kept it going indefinitely right under my nose until now, Blake. We've been keeping things under wraps, meeting up in Stan's office, his MO, and daytime hotel rooms, but we're tired of the secrecy. We want to be open about our relationship. That means spending nights together, going out in public, and traveling as a couple, but we need you on board with our lifestyle." I took another swig of my beer and replied, "Well, good luck with that." "No, Blake." Tracy leaned in, trying to hold my hands. "We're not getting divorced, we're staying married. You just have to accept that. Stan and I will be spending a lot of time together. I'll be staying with him overnight, a couple of nights a week. We'll take weekend trips, and I might even go on longer vacations with him to Europe or the Caribbean, and being his personal assistant means I'll get to travel with him, meet important people, and accompany him to business meetings and social events. Stan's paying me well. It'll be good for us. Think about the perks. Imagine the vacations, our kids' college funds, finally fixing up the lake cabin like we always wanted." I shot back, "Do you really think I'd want any of that paid for with Stanley's company? 4003. I'm not 4003. Tracy snapped back, her voice full of anger. "I'm an important part of the company. I'm the person Stan relies on as he runs his law firm. Closeness is just part of the deal. When you're with a powerful guy like him, I'm honored that he'd want me as his mistress, and you should be too. And let's face it, this fling probably won't last forever. I'd say it'll run its course in 2 or 3 years tops, then it'll be back to how it was before. I'll be your faithful wife again, and we'll enjoy our family for the next 50 years. And here's the thing, Stan wants to be buddies with you. He thinks we can share me as long as he gets what he wants, and you play by his rules. He knows I love you and still want to be intimate with you. He even said you could have your moments with me. There'll just be some conditions, since he'll be coming around to our house. Sometimes he wants to be part of the family, maybe even like an uncle to our kids." Internally I was boiling with anger, but I kept my cool. Outwardly, that a-hole will never lay eyes on my kids or talk to them ever. Got it? Then it hit me, and I had to ask, why does that a-hole want to be involved with my family anyway? Doesn't he have his own? Stan's married to a younger woman from a fancy family. Tracy explained their marriage is more about convenience, but she can't have kids unfortunately. Maybe he should adopt and stay out of other people's lives. I said, Stan really wants his own kids, especially a son, to carry on his legacy. Tracy added, he'd settle for a daughter too. Ideally, he wants one of each. Why doesn't that a-hole use a surrogate? Then he could have all the kids he wants. I suggested. He's thought about it, but he's worried he wouldn't be a good dad. He wants any kid he has to grow up in a loving family, Tracy explained. Then Tracy looked down. Oh God, here we go, I said, getting even more upset as Tracy's point hit me. Then it hit me. He wants to get you pregnant, doesn't he, Anne? Then he wants me to raise his kid. It wouldn't be his kid alone, Tracy insisted. It'd be mine too, and you'd love it because you love me, and the kid would have Cross as a last name. Stan would pay us a ton of money to raise his kid and cover all the expenses until they're done with college. Oh crap, are you already expecting? I blurted out. No, she replied, but he wants me to stop taking the pill in a few months. I told him I wanted you to agree to our new arrangement first. Just when I thought it couldn't get worse, I muttered to myself, once more I made it Clear good luck with that. Tracy was mad. Stop saying that, she snapped. I know you're not on board now, Blake, but maybe you'll come around. Her words hit me hard as I got up to confront her. The doorbell rang. Tracy rushed to answer it, letting her boss in. As he walked in, he grabbed her waist and gave her a kiss. This just keeps getting better, I grumbled to myself. How did he react? Cross asked Tracy. Not good. You might need to spell out the consequences if he doesn't cooperate, she replied. I heard him say. Then we'll go to plan B. Shock and awe. Stan was a big guy, taller and heavier than me at 5 feet 11 inches. I couldn't figure out what Tracy saw in him. Maybe his long gray hair gave him a distinguished look. He seemed confident in his black suit and had a commanding presence. He walked right up to me, invading my personal space. Mr. Ramsey, we need to talk, he said. Talk? I will off you. I shot back. You could try, but my driver would probably stop you before you got far. By tonight, you'd be in jail, so sit down, he ordered. I glanced out the door to see a big guy waiting on my doorstep. I wasn't scared, but I wanted to hear him out, so I reluctantly sat down. Good, now we can talk like grown-ups. When your wife became my personal assistant, it included some extra duties. Yeah, I'm talking about closeness. I've been with your wife for the last 6 months, but we're tired of sneaking around. You and Tracy are going to have a new arrangement. As my assistant, she'll take care of my needs, both professional and personal. Mr. Ramsey, you'll still be Tracy's husband. Your role as a dad won't change, except for one thing. I'll be taking care of Tracy's needs most of the time. That'll happen at a hotel or my office, but sometimes when you're not around, we might use your bed. You a hole. Why would I put up with this? I'd rather divorce her. Cheating behind. I spat back. Mr. Ramsey, that kind of talk won't help. Remember who I am. I'm a big shot lawyer with the city's top law firm. If you try to divorce her, you'll pay, and not just in court. We'll take everything from you, make you pay alimony and child support while she's still with me. Your son and daughters, you won't see them much, if at all. You'll be accused of child offense, go to jail and lose custody forever. Your job gone. Your family and friends, they'll turn their backs on you. I sat there in shock, speechless. I never imagined Tracy and this a-hole would go this far for their affair. Stan went on. Now, I know you won't do anything stupid. If you try to tell my wife, you'll regret it. My driver and his pals will make sure of that. If you try to skip town, my investigators will find you, so just accept this new deal. Your wife's a great assistant. He leaned in, and she's pretty good with her mouth too. I turned to Tracy. Would you really do all that to me? I hope not, Blake, but as long as you cooperate, I won't have to. Eventually you'll get used to it, and it'll seem normal, she said calmly. Still reeling, I watched as they headed for the door, but before they left I had something to say. Wait, I've got something you need to hear. Annoyed, the jerk rolled his eyes. What is it? And make it quick. I took a breath. Once I've had a few drinks and am in my marriage, I'm calling your wife to spill everything. Turning to Tracy, I said, after that I'm calling your sister Lucy to spill the beans, and I'll let her break it to your folks. Stan seemed puzzled, not used to facing resistance when he tried to strong-arm someone. What was that? He questioned without repeating myself. I went on. Bright and early Saturday, I'm getting a locksmith to change all the locks now. Tracy was paying close attention, trying to grasp the situation. After the locks are swapped, I'm heading over to Kate's place down the street. She's been flirting with me shamelessly since her husband passed a few months back. She's older than you and not a supermodel, but she's got to kill her body. Even modeled a bikini for me once. Until an hour ago, I wouldn't have thought of seeing anyone else, but things change, don't they? Tracy looked hurt and stammered. Blake, you can't do that. I went on. When you two get back Sunday, you'll find all Tracy's stuff in the front yard, every last bit of it, clothes, shoes, makeup, jewelry, even our wedding album, and no, not in garbage bags. Better hurry to pick them up before the sprinklers hit at 4 a.m. Monday. Now Stan was getting angry. His face turned red, fists clenched, realizing his threats meant nothing. Tracy looked pained. One more thing, I added, wrapping up Monday, I'm seeing a divorce lawyer, filing for divorce on grounds of cheat, naming you, Stanley, as a co-conspirator, plus suing you for messing with our marriage, and your firm for breaking company rules. Assuming a big outfit like yours has any, even if the lawsuits flop, they'll still put a dent in your rep. Stanley, the jerk, was livid. He hurled the overnight bag at the wall and marched toward me, invading my space again. He jabbed my chest hard with 2 fingers. I had to really hold myself back from hitting back. Listen, you fool, he began, you don't have a clue who you're messing with, or how ruthless I can be when I want to destroy someone. I'm Stanley Cross. I run the biggest law firm around here. I could tear you apart legally in no time. By the time Tracy and I check into our hotel, you'll be in handcuffs for all sorts of charges. You might think you can fight back. If you're innocent, you can't. I've been practicing law in this state for 30 years. I know most of the top cops personally, and I'm buddy-buddy with a bunch of lawyers in the DA's office. Heck, I've even slept with a few. Most of the judges in this city either owe me big favors or know I've got dirt on them. Even the politicians owe me, cause I've helped them get elected one way or another. Stanley was really on a rant, and I didn't want to interrupt. If you go out with your friend Kate tomorrow, the cops will pull you over and find some reason to search your car. They'll probably find pills. Then the Vice Squad will get a tip about offensive videos with minors on your computer, and that's just the start. How long and expensive do you think it'll be to fight all that? You won't find a lawyer brave enough to take me on. You'll be ruined. Meanwhile, I'll still be with your wife. Got it, fool? I believe every word you say. Jerk Stanley turned to me again. You need to show me some respect. Call me sir or Mr. Cross. Call me a whole one more time, and Max here will teach you some manners. When he said this, he slapped me twice with his right hand to make his point clear. The second time, I grabbed his hand with my left, and in one swift move snapped all his fingers backward until they were touching his wrist, and I held them there. Cross was caught off guard for a moment. He seemed stunned, staring at his hand in disbelief. Then the pain hit him, and he let out a loud cry. I pushed him away, and he fell onto the couch. Tracy rushed to his side to help. He unfolded his fingers, clutching his flattened hand to his chest, and rocked back and forth in agony. You cursed bastard, you'll regret this. I'll make you pay. Remembering his bodyguard waiting outside, he shouted, Max, get in here. The front door swung open, and Max entered. He was huge, resembling a tough guy from an old 1940s movie, exuding strength. Yes, Mr. Cross. Max acknowledged. Cross gestured to me with his uninjured hand, and commanded, take care of him. Max. Yes, Mr. Cross, Max replied, moving across the living room toward me. Tracy attempted to object, but Cross brushed her aside. I had expected a confrontation like this. When Tracy mentioned Cross would bring his bodyguard, I knew I might face some rough treatment. This was going to be tough, though hardly anyone knows that I was a P. It lasted only 177 days, but it was enough to earn me the P medal during my captivity. I was the only American they could get their hands on, and they took out their hatred on me, but I learned something I can endure. Offense. The real torture came from hanging from a beam in my cell. Arms pulled painfully tight behind me. The agony was unbearable and ceaseless, so compared to that, taking a beating was a piece of cake. I stood my ground, offering no resistance, as Max swung his massive hand. His blow landed square on my nose, sending me crashing into the coffee table. Dazed, clearly injured, I could see Max hesitating, unsure if he should continue. He looked across for direction. Hurt him, Max, hurt him real bad. Cross ordered. Max seized me by the hair, lifting me up and delivering another blow, this time to my left. I collapsed once more, my vision blurred. Realizing I couldn't endure more without losing consciousness, I quipped up at Max, you hit like a girl. His pride wounded. Max grabbed my hair again, preparing for another strike, but he was in for a surprise when I shot him in the foot. This startled everyone in the room. Max recoiled in pain, stumbling backward until he landed in my favorite leather chair. Meanwhile, I fell to the ground as Max reached for his own tool. I warned him, don't do it, Max. When he ignored my warning and reached for his tool, I fired again. He dropped his tool, screaming in agony. I crawled over, disarmed him, asking, how many men have you ended? Max, feeling the heat against his temple. Max shook his head, indicating he'd never removed anyone. I reminded him that I'd taken down 27 men, all soldiers fighting for their beliefs. Then I asked, how much respect do you think I have for you? Max shook his head from side to side once more. That's right, Max. None, I replied. So there isn't much reason I shouldn't off you, is there? Max pleaded. I have a family, I retorted. Well, Max, I have a family too, and you didn't seem to care much about mine. Maybe your family would be better off if you were gone. Please, he begged, glancing at Max's shoulder. I remarked, I shot you right through the shoulder joint. Max, you're going to bleed out if I don't get you to a doc within an hour or so, but don't worry, those orthopedic surgeons can fix anything with all their plastic and ceramic replacement bones they use. You might have to learn to use your left hand for some things like eating, writing, or shooting, but you'll probably have mobility issues with that arm for the rest of your life, and if you ever feel pain in that arm again, think of me, and if I ever see you again, I'll assume you're out to hurt me, and I won't hesitate to finish you. Got it? Max nodded in understanding. I pulled his shoulder forward to inspect the wound. Max winced in pain. Damn, Max, I lamented. The bullet went clean through your shoulder and my favorite chair, and you're bleeding all over it. I don't know if I can clean it up or fix the hole. If I have to replace the chair, I'll be even more pissed than I am now. Toying with Max for so long was a mistake. Leaving an enemy behind me was a bigger one. Tracy's warning snapped me back to reality. Blake, watch out. I turned just in time to see Cross swinging a fireplace poker at my head. Luckily, my arm blocked most of the blow, but it broke my forearm with my tool knocked away. Cross went for it, but I hit him hard in the groin. He fell to the ground in agony. I grabbed my 9mm and pinned him down. Open your mouth, I ordered. Cross refused to comply. He clenched his lips and shook his head, signaling his defiance, so I struck hard, causing a deep cut on his lip. His mouth opened, and I forced the tool down his throat, making it hard for him to breathe. How's that for my version of shock and awe, huh? I taunted. If you heard what I told Max, you'd know I've officially destroyed 27 men in combat. 7 of them met their end with this magnum, and before you think of resisting too much, know that this tool only needs 4 ounces of pressure on the trigger, and I've already got 2 ounces. I warned with that. Cross ceased his struggling. Now where's your cell phone? I demanded. Cross indicated it was in his left breast pocket. I retrieved it. Turn it on, I ordered, using his thumbprint. Cross powered on the phone. Now call your wife on FaceTime, I instructed. Cross's eyes widened, but he complied. After a few rings a woman answered. Stanley, why are you calling me at this hour? And who is this? The woman questioned, alarmed by the sight of a red face. She didn't recognize Mrs. Cross. I began. My name's Blake Ramsey. You might not know me, but you probably know my wife Tracy Ramsey. She works as your husband's personal assistant. I know Tracy, Mrs. Cross acknowledged. What's going on? Why are you hurt? And where's my husband? I'm holding your husband down. Mrs. Cross with a tool in his mouth, I revealed, angling the phone to show her Cross's face. Oh my God, she exclaimed, please don't hurt him. Listen, Mrs. Cross, time short. Your husband and my wife have been having an affair for months. Today they planned to spend the weekend in a hotel. When I objected, your husband had his goon beat me up. Sadly, I had to shoot him, and now your husband's next. I informed her. My husband's supposed to be at our place in Palm Springs working on a case. Mrs. Cross stated. He's right here on my floor. Mrs. Cross, and meet my wife Tracy. I showed her Tracy looking scared on the sofa. As you can see, my wife's all dressed up, ready for a night out with your husband. I pointed out. This is unbelievable. Mrs. Cross reacted. I was shocked too. I added, got to go. Mrs. Cross, cops are coming. Nice chatting. I ended the call. Back to you. A-hole, your wife's got a hint now. What was your plan? Send Max and pals to rough me up? I asked, glancing at Max. Max needs some time off, I remarked. I warned him, send anyone, I'll off them, then come for you. Got it? Cross nodded, and I withdrew it. Suddenly I smelled something foul. Did you crap yourself? I chuckled. Now I need a new carpet. Pass me my briefcase, Tracy, I requested. She handed it over, and I pulled out my laptop. Was this your stash? I asked, aiming at the laptop's hard drive. Cross was screaming, covering his ear, likely with a ruptured eardrum. I leaned close to his ear and said, good luck using that computer now, a-hole. Then I got off Cross and told him to sit on the sofa. He obeyed, still clutching his groin and ear. I instructed Tracy to grab a wet towel from the kitchen and help Max with his bleeding shoulder. She rushed to get it and came back quickly to assist Max. After that I warned everyone to stay put while I went to clean up in the kitchen with my phone still recording. I realized I had to hide it to prevent the police from deleting the footage, as Cross had connections. I stashed it in a pile of dish towels in a drawer. Then I wiped my face with a wet towel. Returning to the living room, everyone was still in place. Cross was in pain. Tracy helping Max. I told them to wait for the cops, who'd be here soon with an ambulance. Outside, my neighbors had heard the noises. I confirmed it and asked if anyone had dialed 911. Too had. One of my neighbors was retired Marine Colonel Orson Sage. We were close friends who often shared a beer. He called me Captain, and I called him Colonel. Are you okay, Captain? The Colonel asked. I've seen better days, I replied. Sirens wailed in the distance, signaling the police's imminent arrival. Colonel, I called, can you help me out? Sure thing, Captain, he said, stepping onto my porch. First, can you help me unload these magnums and put them on the table? I don't want to be holding one when the cops show up. The Colonel took it and quickly made them safe. Then he placed them on the porch table. Kate, a widowed neighbor from up the street, noticed my injuries and came over to help. Turning to the Colonel and Kate, I said, I wish I could explain everything, but time's short. My wife's boyfriend, a lawyer, threatened to fray me with pills. I handed the Colonel my keys. After all this, if the garage isn't taped off, hide my car. The garage code is our street address. Got it, Captain, he replied. Kate interjected, you look really rough, Blake. My head's pounding, and I'm feeling dizzy, I admitted. Guess I took a harder hit than I thought. With Kate's help, I sat on the porch steps when 2 police cars showed up. Lights flashing and sirens blaring, they cautiously approached, hands on their tools, but the colonel assured them there was no threat. Pointing to the unloaded tools on the porch, I told them about the 3 individuals inside. A police officer noticed my condition and said, "Looks like you need some medical attention." Too soon 2 ambulances arrived, lights flashing and sirens blaring. Emergency technicians hurried to the porch while another officer informed them about the injured man inside. As my dizziness worsened, Kate urged me to lie down while an EMT checked my face. I mentioned my possibly broken forearm. Later, in a haze, I saw Max being wheeled out on a stretcher and Cross being helped into an ambulance. Tracy, escorted by a female officer, stopped nearby crying and apologizing profusely, but I rejected her, saying go to hell before she was taken away. I either passed out or received pain medication, remaining unconscious for 3 days. When I woke up, a nurse named